This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So today we will try to understand uh, one other DevOps tool called Ansible. So in our demo session, I have explained this concept. What is Ansible, if you remember. So I told you at that in the demo that if we have around suppose 300 servers are there, uh, if each servers belongs to different environments. For example, dev environment having 100 servers, SAT having 100 servers, production having 100 servers, and if you want to install Java on all those these machines, then no, manually it will take long time. I informed you on that day, and also introduced you about Ansible is a configuration management tool. It's a configuration management tool. I told you on that day. So this tool mostly used to install deploy applications and configure the configuration files, copy files, remove files. So creating new folders, new directories, new files, whatever we do manually, so everything Ansible will do. That means Ansible will be running on a separate machine, and it will be connected to all those machines. All those machines means all these. Suppose we have 300 machines here. So our Ansible will be running in a separate machine. We can call it as a control manager machine or whatever you name it, no problem. But end of the day, try to understand Ansible will be running in a separate machine, and that Ansible will connect to all these 300 machines. For example sake, I'm saying Ansible can connect to all these machines, right? So once it connected to all these machines, it can control all these machines from one from that particular server, from the Ansible, wherever Ansible is installed, from that server it will control all these machines. So it can install, it can remove whatever you tell, it will do it. So this way manually we no need to log into all these machines. This way drastically time will be decreased, and most of the work will be done automatically by Ansible tool. So as you discussed, the advantage of Ansible tool is that we can avoid the manual interaction with for doing the tasks by logging into all this machine individually. So now onwards, we will do this installing of softwares and everything through Ansible tool. So that we will try to understand elaborately. Okay, Shivin, good morning.
Hi, good morning, mother.
Yeah, yeah. So so today we will learning Ansible tool.
Okay.
So Shibin, if you remember, do you remember Ansible? We discussed in our demo class. Do you remember?
Yes, I remember.
Right? So Ansible will be running in one single server, and it will be controlling multiple machines. So if you want to install on the demo, I told you that when you want to install Java software or any software on multiple machines, more than 100 machines, for example, 50 machines, 40 machines. So instead of doing it manually, we use Ansible tool. So we'll try to understand how to use Ansible tool. Let's try to understand that today. So what is Ansible? Why Ansible? Ansible use cases, architecture of Ansible, configuration management with Ansible. These things we'll try to understand. So what is Ansible? So am I recording? Ansible is an open source configuration management and provisioning tool similar to Chef and Puppet or Salt. So still some companies are using Chef or Puppet or Salt, but most of the companies now shifted to Ansible tool. Ansible is much matured now. It having more tools to use. So we'll see what are those more tools, how can we use them, we'll see in a moment. So it uses SSH to connect to servers and run the configured tasks. What is saying, it uses SSH to connect. What is SSH to connect? If you remember, when we try to connect it to Git to GitHub, at that time we have created SSH keygen. We ran a command called SSH keygen. When we run it, it created two files, private key and public key files it has created, if you remember. And public key, what we did, we copied that public key in our GitHub tool. We copied our public key in our GitHub tool, if you remember. Right. So similarly, the same keygen we will be using. I will explain you that anyway, no worries. So it uses SSH to connect to servers and run the configured tasks. So whatever tasks you want to do by Ansible, so we have to tell to Ansible. So these are the tasks. So then Ansible will go through the task, each and every task, and what it will do, it will connect it to all those machines. So all those machines means which machines? I closed it, no? So all the machines, suppose I have 10 machines. 10 machines, in those 10 machines I have to install Java. Then Ansible will connect it to all those 10 machines and it will perform the tasks, whatever task we mentioned. So where we mention the task, the location where Ansible is running. Ansible will be running in one server. In the same server, we will write the tasks in a special file called YAML file. YAML is a file. I will explain you what is YAML as well in a moment. But we write all the instructions in a YAML file, and Ansible will go through the YAML file, and accordingly it will connect it to each server and it will perform the tasks. We'll see that. Ansible lets you control and configure nodes from a single machine. Right? Ansible lets you control and configure nodes. Nodes means what? Here nodes are same those 10 machines, 20 machines, whatever machines. So manually, when we connect it to each machine or each node, machine, server, EC2 instance, all are same. Don't confuse. Node is a new name, but all are same. Node, EC2 instance, virtual machine, server, all are same. So here Ansible lets you control and configure nodes from single machine. Single machine means the single machine where our Ansible software is installed. So Ansible software will be installed on the single machine. From this machine, it will control and configure the nodes or the EC2 instances from this single machine. What makes it different from other management software is that Ansible uses SSH infrastructure. The project was founded in 2013 and bought by Red Hat in 2015. So Red Hat has acquired this Ansible company. Now Red Hat takes care of Ansible. Right. So previously this Chef and Puppet and our Salt, they won't use SSH. They won't use SSH keys. They have to install agents. Actually, they have to install some software plugins kind of on the nodes. So some software has to be installed on the nodes. Only then the Chef tool or Puppet tool able to communicate with the nodes. But now in Ansible, no need to install any plugins or agents on the nodes. Instead, Ansible uses SSH public key, private keys to communicate with the nodes. You will understand it easily once we go to practicals. And after that, once doing the practicals, go through these statements again. You will understand clearly what I am trying to say. Ansible use cases: provisioning, configuration management, app deployment. See, remember, Ansible also provisions the servers that like Terraform tool we have not yet learned, but like Terraform, Ansible is able to create servers on the cloud. It can create servers on the cloud. It having the capability of creating provisioning infrastructure, but we won't use them. We use, instead of using Ansible we only use for configuration purposes, and we use Terraform for provisioning the infrastructure. So Terraform is good at in that area, and Ansible is good in configuration area, configuration management area. It is good at configuration managing the servers. App deployment, that means application deployments. It will do application deployments. So like Java, with Java we have installed in Tomcat, right? The same thing Ansible we can do it. So on Tomcat, what we did, we deployed in the Tomcat server. So everything now automated, can be automated using Ansible. Ansible can deploy the software onto any server, whether it can be Tomcat, it can be anything. Continuous delivery. So continuously, by this, we are able to deliver it continuously, and it provides security and compliances and orchestrations. Orchestration is nothing but managing all these nodes, all these EC2 instances. So there can be 40, 50 servers, no problem. Ansible can manage them. So Ansible manages, and the Kubernetes also called as an orchestration tool. So Ansible also orchestration tool because it manages the multiple nodes. Kubernetes also manages the multiple nodes, but both are for different purposes. And but because both are managing the different nodes or EC2 instances or different servers, we call them as orchestration tool as well. So it looks architecture of Ansible something looks like this, right? Here we are the user. As a user, we will write Ansible playbooks. I told you playbooks are nothing but in our one of the demo I told you playbooks are nothing like for example, it's a normal. Suppose if I say what is MP4 file, MP4 file, you say, if I say ask you, you will say it's a video, some movie or some movie kind of playable kind of file, you say. If I ask you what is JPG file, then you can easily say it's a some image. When you open a JPG, it contains image, you can easily say. If I say text file, then text file contains some text in that. Similarly, when I say playbook, then playbook by it is a file which contains commands, which contains a commands. So in Ansible, we call them as playbooks. So these playbooks having a separate extension called .yaml or .yml. What is YAML files? We will discuss in a moment. But as of now, try to understand playbooks are nothing but files. The files which having extension as .yml or .yaml. So what YAML? What are these? It's yet another markup language. We call it as yet another markup language. But anyway, when we're discussing YAML file, at the time we'll discuss about it, but not now, not required. But just try to understand we have playbooks. Okay, users write the commands in the playbooks, and then when you run the Ansible tool go through the playbook and you will understand the commands, and accordingly it will perform the activities. Not only playbook, so playbook internally uses modules, plugins, APIs, right? So what are modules, what are plugins, what are APIs? See, when you go to Ansible website, for example, as I told you in our demo class, Ansible Ansible, if you type Ansible here, so this is Ansible website. Click on Ansible website, or else one moment please. Ansible documentation. Go to Ansible documentation. So this is the Ansible documentation, docs.ansible.com. In this we have various packages available, libraries. So learn about Ansible modules. Start start writing Ansible playbooks. So when you go to right click on this, start writing Ansible playbooks, go to open in a new tab. So playbook syntaxes, okay. So everything will be explained here, how it looks like. So this is an example of playbooks. And if you go to modules, for example, so introduction to modules. So modules are all pre-written programs. Modules is simply short way. If you ask me what it is, it's are. So if you click on indexes of all modules and plugins, if you click on index of all modules, so you will see multiple modules on the left side. So index of all become plugins, cache plugins, callback plugins. So many are there. Index of all modules, right? So these are different categories. You can think it of as a different categories. You can think it of a different categories. So I clicked index of all modules. If you come down, these are modules communicated with our Amazon cloud. So Ansible having already some small programs, we call them as modules. So these are all pre-written programs. You can use them if you want to connect to EC2 instance. If you want to connect to EC2, if you want to create an EC2 instance on the cloud, you can do it, but we won't use Ansible for that purpose. We use is mostly for configuration, deployment of softwares, various other things. For connecting to cloud, we use Terraform. So if you scroll down, for example, now Ansible dot built-in is a, you can say it as a namespace. What is namespace? As of now you forget it, but as of now Ansible provides various modules. Apt module manages apt packages. That means if you remember in Ubuntu, to install, what you say, apt install Java or something, we say apt install so and so, apt install so and so. So same thing, if you want to do via through Ansible, then you have to use this module, apt module. Suppose you want to copy some files or something to another destination, then you can use a module name called copy. So if you right click on it, open a new tab, it will show you the example how to use it. So all the parameters, what the copy takes, so how it looks like. For example, it will show you example how to use it. For example, this is a, yeah, this is a YAML file. This is a YAML file. In this, what is this name section? Everything I'll explain you. But here you see copy. Copy is a pre-written program, or we can call it as a module. So when you use copy, then you can say what file you want to copy, what is the destination, okay, who is the owner of this file, which group it belongs to, what is the, I'm sorry, what is the mode, but meaning it's 0 means it's a file, right? 6 means read write permissions, 4 means again read write execute whatever permissions. If you use 7, you'll get all read write execute permissions. It is 4 means only few permissions. So you can, when you run this particular playbook command, then what happens is a file will be copied with this name to a destination folder. That means something is coming from copy from this folder to etc folder. That is the reason we have to use src and destination. What are these? These are called as parameters or arguments to copy. That means copy command does not know, right? We have to tell him. Copy says that okay, I will copy the files from source to destination, but when you want to when you want to when you want to tell me that you have to tell me that what is the source. For that, use this keyword called source. Copy command will say that. Then how you know that we have to use only src? Then you have to go to the documentation. Here it will clearly mentions, tells you that here is a src. It says that clearly local path to a file to copy to the remote server. This can be absolute or relative. If path is direct, so everything you will get information about it. Now similarly, for the copy command, you have to also tell that where you want to copy. So that is a destination. So dest is the keyword you have to use for that. So when you go up again, for that also you have the information. So destination is required. In the red color, whenever it shows red color, it is, that means it is required. Remaining are not required. That is the difference you should understand. When it is mentioned required, then you must mention it. It is mandatory. Remote absolute path where the file should be copied to. So like that, for every module. So modules are nothing but pre-written programs. So apt, for example, if you go to apt, for example, if you come down, these are the parameters for the apt. So if you come down, scroll down, see the example how apt is used. So here it's saying apt. You have to use apt. And suppose I want to install Apache 2, then how you do in a machine? Apt install Apache 2, we say, right? The same thing if you want to convey in an Ansible style in the playbook, you would simply say you have to use the module apt. Which software you want to install? That you have to say name colon. So what is name? You, if you go to the documentation here, the name will be mentioned, shown here. Sorry, alphabetical order. So come down somewhere here, it should be there. Here is a name argument. So a list of packages, like example they are foo, they are saying, but normally the foo nothing but your package names, original names. Example they are saying foo, a list of package names. Whatever you want to install, you have to mention name. And okay, then you have a keyword called present, state equal to present. What is state? State, you see, indicates the desired package state. When you say latest, ensures the latest version is installed. So if you see here, we have choices. Absent is there, build DP, and choose the package, build dependencies. So all the dependencies will be installed first, then latest, then present. Present will be the default one, right? And fixed. So if you want to uninstall, you have to use absent. So if you want to build with the dependencies, you have to use build dependencies. If you want the latest one, you have to use latest one. If you want to install, just say present. When you say present, automatically the latest Apache 2 will be installed when you say present. In place of present, when you say absent, it will be absent. It will be uninstalled. So like that, once you understand, once you work with Ansible, then you have to go through all these modules one by one. Whenever actually in real time, you maybe have to work on one of the module. Suppose they may ask you they give some task, then one of the module, suppose a fetch module you want to use, then you have to right click and open that fetch module, and you can go through this example, right? You can go through the example, you can try, right? On your real time, you can try this on a EC2 instance. You can create your own EC2 instance. You will practice, you test it yourself first of all before doing it on the production. You will have good time to practice. You practice there, test it. When it is working fine, only then you use it in the production or in your dev environment. Directly you won't use it anyway. So you will practice first, you will test it, everything is working properly as expected, then you will proceed. We will see that. First of all, we will see how to use this, and then we'll come back to these examples. So this way you have to refer the documentation. So coming down back to our PowerPoint, here these are the modules. They are the modules, they are the plugins, they are APIs, and this is inventory. Inventory means, inventory is a separate file again, like playbook. So Amazon application, Amazon tool always depends mostly on playbooks and inventory. Inventory nothing but your another file which contains all your machines IP addresses. For example, I want to connect to 10 machines. Then in the inventory file, you have to mention IP addresses of all those 10 machines. You have to mention the IP address of all those 10 machines. And then Ansible, when it is running, it will connect to all those 10 machines, and it will do the tasks mentioned inside the playbook. For example, how it looks on inventory file. So you can individually write in real time. They will give, the company will give, actually they will give the domain name directly, mail.example.com or mail.tcs.com, something they will give. Accordingly you have to give, but here we will not, we don't have domain names, right? That is the reason we will use IP addresses. So domain names anyway internally referring the IP addresses only. So we will be using IP addresses. In real time, you will be going to use domain names. So this is one URL, you can think it as a one IP address, and this is, here you see two IP addresses are domain names, and above we are mentioning a section. I mentioned a section name in the square bracket, web servers. So that means this web servers name can be anything. It is not required it always to be a web servers. It can be dev, it can be SIT, it can be ABC, XYZ, no problem. But that should be in a square bracket. So when you mention a square bracket, this name, web server's name or whatever name you give, this name we will be referring in our playbook. In a playbook, I will say, I can able to say that whatever IP addresses mentioned under web server section, you please install Apache in these two machines only. If you say in our playbook, if I say, if you in the playbook, if you mention the section name as DB servers, then automatically in the DB server, whatever software you want to install, then that software will be installed on these three machines. On these three machines. So the section names we use to identify, only for identification purpose we give the section names. That is the reason I am saying that section names can be anything. You can give any name, no problem. But end of the day, some name to be given in a square bracket, so that our Ansible, sorry, our playbook can understand in which group, for which group you are referring, and in which group it has to install. Suppose I want to install Java only for these two machines, or only for these three machines. If you want to install only in these three machines, then you have to mention, I want to install the machines which are under section DB server. I want to install Java in those machines which are under section web servers. So you have to For that purpose, we have to take the name. We have to give the name just to control this machines under that section. And if you don't, you see this one, this does not belongs to any machine, any section, right? It does not belongs to, and it is not mandatory to give a section name. Okay, if you do, assume mail.example is another section, sorry, another IP address or domain name, which is not belonging to any section row. So what happens? That means our playbook, suppose in the playbook I'm saying install Java on under in the servers which belong to section web servers, then Java will be installed in these two machines, as well as Java also will be installed in this machine as well, because this machine does not belong to any group. Because it's not belong to any group, then by default it will be, this machine will be installed with the Java file. So tomorrow you are installing the DB servers related Oracle or something, then Oracle, I want to install Oracle in DB servers section on all these three machines. Then DB server will be, Oracle will be installed on three machines, as well as on the mail.example.com as well. In this machine as well, it will be installed. So to avoid this, you have to put them, this machine also, in a proper section. But if you think that this server should contain all the softwares which all the other sections able going to contain, going to have, then no problem. As per your requirement, you can put it outside of the any section. So that is about inventory file. So Ansible hosts. So these will understand what are Ansible hosts, these things. So this is a local section, this is a web group section, and this is DB group section. These are different group names. So, or you can say section names. So in the DB group or DB group, you can give DB group or any name you give. Name is not mandatory. Name you can give anything, no problem. Here we are giving the IP address. Here we are giving the domain names, right? For local, we are giving another name, right? Then playbooks, as we discussed already, playbooks are simple YAML files. Okay, these are YAML files. These files are descriptions of the desired state of your systems. That means what you are desiring. Desiring means, suppose I'm expecting my 10 machines should have Java. That is your desire. So to fulfill the desire, then in the file YAML playbook, in the playbook, you have to mention that these files are descriptions of the desired state of system. So you have to describe. You have to describe in the playbook what you want, so that the same thing will going to be installed on those machines, on all those systems. So here new term again, state of your system. Systems again, new word here. Servers, nodes, EC2 instances, systems, all are same. Don't confuse. All are same. Systems. Ansible then does the hard work of getting your systems, or see again, does the hard work of getting your systems, or you can think it as a nodes or EC2 instances or servers, to that state, no matter what state they are currently in. Playbook Playbooks make your installations, upgrades, and day-to-day management repeatable and reliable. So whatever things you want to repeat, how many times you want to repeat, it will repeat it. It will be repeated multiple times. So this will save a lot of time of human intervention. If you do the same repeated tasks multiple times, then you will get frustrated very soon. But using playbooks, you just execute that tool. That's all. Ansible tool will read this file and it will execute the instructions mentioned in the playbook. So just one line of execution line, you press enter, that's it. Playbooks are simple to write and maintain. Playbooks are written in natural language so that they are very easy to evolve and edit. Evolve means, so today you wrote some script in that file and tomorrow another person added to it, so it's very easy to understand. So it will be, you can easily add on extra scripts in the playbook. Playbook contains place. Place contains tasks. Tasks call modules. So in short, every playbook contains tasks, and tasks inside call modules. Apt. Suppose you want to install something, then you have to call apt module. Suppose you are dealing with uh, some 10 servers, for example, and these 10 servers containing few are, for example, few are belonging to Amazon Linux machines, and few, suppose these are 4 machines are belonging to Linux machines. 4 machines are belonging to Amazon Linux, and few are belongs to Ubuntu. Suppose some 6 belongs to Ubuntu. So your apt module will not work. Your apt module will work only with Ubuntu. Only works with Ubuntu, right? And you cannot install Java on Amazon Linux using apt module. For that reason, you have to use another module called yum module. You have to use another module called yum module. You know what is yum is? Yum you already used. Only used on Amazon Linux, right? Right. So if you if you know how, then for that also we have a module, right? For that also we have a module. You go to this here, yum module also you should have. Here you see yum manages packages with the yum package manager. So this is another module. So again yum also same like apt, but so yum you want to install Apache, then you have to use yum. And you know, for Apache to install in Amazon Linux, you have to use HTTPD, not Apache 2, right? So that we are using, right? So but in while writing our playbooks, we have to use some conditions. We have to use some conditions. If the machine is Amazon Linux, use yum module. If the machine is Ubuntu, use apt module. That way, in our YAML file, we have to write conditions. So how to write conditions, that we will learn in our coming sessions. We will learn how to write conditions such a way that one script should work. Only one script should work, even though that script is dealing with various other operating systems. No matter the servers belonging to which operating system it may be, but our script should work properly. To work our playbook properly, then in our script we have to use some conditions. If and if conditions, what are if conditions? Those conditions we'll see slowly. Example of an Ansible playbook. Here it's saying hosts. So hosts is a section. So we'll learn this. What are the sections as well? Hosts are is called a section. Task is a section. Remote user root, I'm saying. That means, so when you're going to install something on the machines, on your nodes, right? So you should have proper permission, right? So on the remote, as on those machines, you are becoming as a root user. After that, here it is saying hosts web server, I'm saying. So what does it mean? So that means we are telling to our playbooks that in the inventory file, there will be a section with the name web servers. Whatever the IP addresses mentioned in this section, in all those machines, on those all those connected to all those all those machines using those IP addresses, and in that you install these tasks, do these tasks. So in under task section, name colon, I'm saying name colon. This is a here. This is a different one. This name is used for telling you the information what we are going to do, what the below commands are going to do. For that purpose, you use a new keyword called hyphen space name colon ensure Apache is at the latest version. This is something you can write. It's a comment section. You can write whatever you want, but the original commands are yum is a module. The module colon name equal to httpd space state equal to latest, I'm saying. You see, this is a single line. This is single line, but in this example it is in multiple line, right? It's a multiple line. So no problem, you can write in single line, you can write it in multiple line. So no issues, you can write both ways. That will learn anyway. So you can, here it is written in single line. Name ensure Apache is running. Okay, Apache is installed fine. Now I want to see that service has to be running state. I want it to be in a running state. Then you have to use another module called service module. Service is a module. So what is service module? Again, you can go to our documentation. Here you see we have a module called manages services. You click on, right click on it, open a new tab. So this module is part of Ansible core and included in all Ansible installations. Okay, so exactly synopsis. controls services on remote hosts, right? So when you want to use this service module, then which module you want to start? I want to start HTTP module. I want it to be started. I want it to be stopped. I want it to be restarted. So various states are there. So in this example, I'm saying state started. Another parameter is also there called enabled. I want it to be I want it to be enabled. Then enabled equal to yes, I am saying. So when you execute this playbook, then what will happen? So assume we have 10 machines under web server section. What is web server section? This is a web server section. This section we are referring actually. So under this section we have two machines here. So I'm referring these two machines, for example. So our playbook will immediately understands, okay, under web servers these are the two machines. I have to connect this to these two machines. Okay. Then our Ansible will connect to those two machines, and in those two machines it will install the Apache software using the yum module. So you should be very careful. You should understand what type of servers they are. If they are yum, if they belongs to Amazon Linux, then you have to use yum. If they belongs to apt, then Ubuntu, then Debian family, that is Ubuntu, then you have to use apt. But question arises, how can we know? Because we don't know, right? What OS they are having, what OS they are having. That is the reason. That is the reason. The playbook, this one is not a correct playbook. This is not a proper script. Here it is dealing with only, it is assuming directly that it is dealing with only Ansible, sorry, Amazon Linux machines only, or CentOS machines only. CentOS also belongs to Red Hat family. So whatever servers belong to Red Hat family, so for example, Amazon Linux belongs to Red Hat family, right? CentOS belongs to Red Hat family. So whoever belongs to Red Hat family, then we have to use yum commands. And whoever belongs to Debian family, like Ubuntu kind of, then for them we have to use apt modules. Anyway, that is about families. But this is not a correct playbook. If you write this playbook, it's not a correct one. Why? It is targeting only to the Ansible Linux machines only. But I have to target all machines, all type of OSs. Then this script is not proper script. We will see how to write a proper script in coming days. Okay, right. So playbooks, push mode. So the control machine, managed nodes, both are different sections. So control machine is nothing but our main server where our Ansible software has been installed. In this machine we have installed Ansible software in this machine. And on the right side in this example I am showing you only three machines. So our this machine, server machine or control machine, has to connect to these nodes or these servers. These are called managed nodes. Okay, control machine managing the nodes. The control machine having the Ansible software in its machine, it is controlling these nodes. Now how it is controlling? So it is controlled by connecting them. So how it is connecting? Suppose there are three machines. These three machine IP addresses are available in the inventory file. That is fine. Now our control machine can connect to them using the IP address mentioned in the inventory file. Then after connecting, what it has to do? Those steps are mentioned in the playbook, right? And here, what is SSH? Here everywhere using SSH. What is that? So I told you, right? If you remember, we did already this one. When we working with Git and GitHub, we used HTTP, HTTPS we use HTTPS and SSH. For HTTPS, we always used to give what? Username and password. Then what we did? We later it never asked after using SSH link. It never asked for username and password. Why it never asked? Because at the time we have created a private and public keys. How? Using a command called keygen, if you remember. So keygen did what? It created one private key and public key. Private key and public key. And what we did with the public key? The public key, using public key, what we did is we copied the public key, something the name is id rsa dot pub is a file public key. We opened this file, and inside this content we copied it and we pasted where we went to GitHub. We went to GitHub, right? Do you remember those steps? If you remember those steps, no, then you will not surprise. You won't find any surprise while with working with Ansible. You will find is very easy, right? GitHub. In the GitHub section, after creating here, what we did, we went to our settings and we went to SSH and key. Here we went. Here we added a we clicked on new SSH key here, and then here what we did, we given some name and pasted here our public key. And after doing that, it never asked us to pushing the code to the GitHub. It never asked us for the username and password, if you remember, right? The same similar thing we have to do. The same similar thing we have to do. Why we have to do? Because now this time I whenever I'm going to run these commands on my machine should allow me to do that. My machine should allow me to connect to them by by control machine, so that Ansible can connect to them, and after connecting to them, it has to install the softwares mentioned in the playbook. So to have a connection, we have to create again SSH keygen. You have to run the command SSH keygen, and we have to create private key and public key, and we have to copy the public key. Where we create the public key and private key? In our control machine. Here only we create. Once we create the private and public key, what we do, we'll copy the public key from here, and we copy it where? On each node. On each node we copy the public key. But in GitHub, we did only in GitHub once, but here it is not like that. For how many nodes you want to connect, for all of them you have to do. For all of them you have to do. Where we have to copy? Where we have to copy? See, in GitHub, you know the location. You know the location. Here we have to copy the public key. But in Ansible, where you have to copy? So in the every node will contain. See, not only every node, every machine, every Linux machine will contain, a .ssh folder. I believe you remember this. If you get inside this, you will see another file called authorize. Authorized some file name with authorized or authorized, some file will be there. I forgot the name. So remember, every Linux machine will contains a hidden folder name .ssh. Every node will contain .ssh by default. In that, by default, authorized file will be there. So you have to open this file. You have to open this file. How? Authorize, like this. When you open it, already this authorized file contains a public key. It will already contains a public key. How it contains already a public key? Why it contains a public key already? Who copied it? Who copied it? See, whenever you install any Linux machine, right? Every time, first time when you create a key pair, we get a key, right? We get a key pair, right? This key pair, what we are using is a private key. This is a private key. This is a private key, right? This private key. So this is a private key. And then whenever you launching a new machine, then that machine will be created where? On Amazon's data center. At one of the location, it will be created. Once a machine is created, the machine in that machine, whatever operating system you have selected, Amazon or Ubuntu, whatever you have selected, that OS will be installed. After installing, in that a .sh folder will be created. In that a authorized file will be created. In that file, a public key also copied by the cloud provider. You will copy the public key. This public key, whatever is present already inside it, this public key and this private key both will be handshake. Handshake means nothing but they will allow whether if it's a private proper private key, then this public will match with that private key, and it will allow us to log into that machine. Suppose I am using my private key, and if you try to access my machine, you cannot, because your private key is different, my private key is different. So this my private key only works well with my public key, associated public key. So tomorrow you have created a machine, for example, on the cloud. Then for you also a dot ssh folder will be created. In that, a authorized folder file will be created. In that, a public will be automatically, a public key will be pushed into it. Why? Because you have to connect remotely, you have to connect to that machine. To connect to that machine, Amazon will keep a public key with them, and it will give us a private key. You know that I already told in the beginning. So that public key always available inside this authorized file. That is the reason always a public key will be available. Okay, after this public key, you have to, what you have to do in the next. So the public key, you know, right, it will having 3-4 lines. It will be 3-4 lines public key. In that, in that in our Ansible server, whatever server we are going to, this is a control mission, right? Here I will run the ssh keygen command. When I run the keygen command, then a private key, a public key will be created. That public key you have to copy from this machine, and you have to go to this each machine. So each machine, I told you, will have a authorized file. Go to open that, and after using vi authorized file name, and it will open, and go to insert mode, and on the next line you paste your public key. Paste your public key, which was generated on our control machine, or where we have installed Ansible. So is same file. On the next line, you have to paste the public key. That's all. That means authorized file now contains 2 public keys. One public key is for connecting to the machine itself, the remote machine itself. Another public key is for connecting, allowing our control machine to connect to each machine. Okay. If you still are in confusion, no problem. We will do it practically. Then you will understand more better. But end of the day, it's very simple, not very complicated. Ansible playbook run. So how you run a command? So I told you that now playbook contains all the commands. For example, now Ansible, when you install Ansible software, then Ansible provides a command. Ansible gives you a command name called Ansible playbook. This is a what you call a program. This is a program. Ansible hyphen playbook is a program. This program to this created by whom? By the Ansible. When you install Ansible software, this program also will be available on this control machine. Where we are running this command? We are running this command on our control machine. We are running on our control machine. On this machine, on this server, we will run this command. How we run the command? Like this, Ansible hyphen playbook. But before running the command, you have to install Ansible, right? How to install? It's very simple. You have to just say yum install Ansible or apt install Ansible. That's all. It's not very complicated like our Jenkins or JFrog or SonarCube. It's very straightforward installation like our normal softwares. Don't worry though. Those are very easy. But once you install Ansible, then the Ansible software will give you a program name called Ansible playbook. So after that space, you have to give your playbook.yaml file name. Playbook.yaml file name. So here playbook is nothing but you can give name playbook, or you can give abc.yaml or xyz.yaml, whatever name you want to give, you give. But a proper name should be given. Name is not important here. But here the name is important. Ansible hyphen playbook is very important because it's a program name. To this program, I'm saying that this is my YAML file. In this file, I have written some instructions. So then when you press enter key, then this program will read every line inside this YAML file. And this what this YAML file contains? This file contains these instructions assume. So first one is web servers, host section, web servers. Then immediately our Ansible do what? Okay, I have to connect all these IP addresses. Though you see here 192.168 is one of the IP address. So in this picture, it is connected to only one server. So that means only one IP address available in that section. Which section? In the web servers, for example, here only one IP address there. What is 192 dot whatever we are seeing there in this picture? That same IP address only one is available here. Assume. Then it will connect like this, and it is doing what? It is doing what? Gathering facts. It's saying gathering facts. What is gathering actually? Actually, it is gathering like no. Okay, It will connect first. After connecting it, what it will do? It will try to understand what OS has been installed on that machine. On that machine, whether it having Amazon Linux OS or Ubuntu OS or Red Hat OS, what OS it having, or Windows OS, what OS it having. All those facts it will gather. It will take some time over here, and that all that information, not only that information, it will also gather the information like what RAM it is using, what CPU it is using, right? What type of instance it is TT micro or TT medium, what it is, right? Which family it belongs to, and which VPC it is running on, and which zone it is running on. Everything it will gather here. That will see that all information whatever it has gathered, that we will display in our coming sessions. So it will gather here. After that, next task, in the first example in our application, in our playbook, we written a command called apt update cache equal to yes. This will be executed. Then it will say okay. Then next task is ensure Apache is installed. Then accordingly, that will you will get a message like changed. If it's changed, it is something is happened on that machine, then you will get a message like changed. So here at the bottom, you see now last task is ensure Apache is started. Then okay, it is saying. Here you see play recap. In the recap, it is saying that this is the IP address. How many OKs are there? 4 OKs are there. And changed. How many changes? One change has been done. If it is failed, then it will show failed equal to 1. If it is failed, 1 or 2. Accordingly, how many times it has failed, it will show here. Unreachable. If it is not able to connect to the machine, then it will say unreachable. How many unreachable? In this screen, I am connected to only one server. If you are connecting to multiple IP addresses, assume we are connecting to 3, and out of 3 only one we connected, but the remaining 2 we failed to connect, for example. Then you will come, it failed equal to, it will show 2, and unreachable it will show you as 2, or maybe it reachable, but due to some errors it is not able to perform the tasks mentioned in the playbook. Then unreachable it will be say 0 only, but failed will be 2. If it really unreachable, then failed will be 0 and unreachable will be 2, and one is connected and it is successful, then change it will be 1. Like that, all the details will be shown under play recap. It's very easy to use. Okay, then comes our modules. There are over 1,000 modules provided by Ansible to automate every part of the environment. Modules are like plugins that do the actual work in Ansible. They are what gets executed in each playbook task. So every task is depending on modules. What are modules? These are all pre-written programs. Already they are pre-written, like copy, apt, yum. These are all pre-written programs, small programs. Each module is mostly standalone and can be written in a standard scripting language such as Python, Perl, Ruby, Bash, etc. One of the guiding properties of modules is idempotency, which means that even if an operation is repeated multiple times, it will always place the system into same state. That means, suppose if Java installed, then you are running the same module again to install Java, then it will remove the existing Java and again it will install Java, right? Examples of modules: there are lots of modules such as service, file, copy, IP tables, etc. Any module can be used as. So this is not a playbook. This is a you can write your instructions in a playbook. Like if you remember shell scripts, you know, right? Shell scripts. When you learning shell scripts, I told you why we require shell scripts. See, when you want to execute some Linux commands, sequentially you want to run some 6 or 10 commands, for example, to complete one task. Then every time, if you're executing those 10 commands to complete one particular task, then you better put those 10 commands in one single file and name it as some name with the dot sh extension. Then next time onwards, do not execute these 10 commands individually. Just run the shell script. That's it. Then shell script will take care of executing those 10 commands which are mentioned inside its file, right? So that is the reason we go for the shell scripting. That is the reason we go for the shell scripting. So here also same. This is like a single command. This is one command. This command, it's saying that Ansible is a command now, another program now. Like Ansible playbook is a command, the program, this is another program. I'm saying that on the machine 127.0.0.1 means my machine only. On that my local machine, service is what is the service? Service is a module, right? So to mention that it's a module, I have to say that -m. When you say -m, then my Ansible program understands that okay, service is a module by seeing this -m. Okay, -m, the module name. Then this module will take some arguments, parameters, right? The same parameters, name, state, we saw there, right? In my documentation. If you go to the documentation, this is my service. What documentation it is? It's fetch documentation, right? You go to service documentation. Okay, maybe somewhere it is. Let me open it again, no problem. Here is my service. Maybe this one. No, many windows are opened. Let me close all of them. So this is my service module. This service module takes two parameters. There are many parameters, but in my program, name and state is a parameter it is taking. So this is state parameter and this is the name parameter. So this is name is required, state is not required, but name is required. So which service, name of the service. So here hyphen a means argument. What argument? Argument is nothing but your parameter. So what parameter that service is going to take. So I am saying hyphen a, it is going to take in double quotation name equal to the service name space extra parameters, whatever parameters extra we have, many are there. We are many. Out of them you can use whatever you want. Here I have used state equal to started. And this is next line is another standalone command. Standalone means it's running individual command, okay, like a Linux command. Ansible, instead of the IP address, I'm giving localhost -m means I'm going to use another module called ping module. So before using the module, I have to say I'm going to use a module. How you mention it? -m. So ping is a module now. So if you go to ping module, it will tell you about clearly what is ping module, what ping module is. So here is the ping module. Try to connect to most verify a usable Python and return. So ping is a module again. If you go to this and this, you will get more information about ping module. How to use it? Just ping. No, it won't take any parameters. You see, no ping. Just say ping. That's it. It won't take any arguments. And this automatically our Ansible. That means our control machine. My control machine will be connecting to one of the machine. I will ping. That means whether you are running or not. So it will give a response back to my control machine. It will give a response back to my machine. Yes, I'm alive. It will give a message to control machine. So both can communicate. It will say ping and it will respond with the pong. So these things we will learn in coming session. So that is example of our modules. So I will end our session today here itself. Tomorrow we'll start practicals. Just go through this. I will copy this in a PDF format. I will upload in the document folder and you go through this PDF one more time. Okay, somebody's okay. And one more thing, you have to use uh, from now onwards you have to use a new Google Drive. I'm sharing with the other Google Drive is full now. You use both of them, please. You use both of them, that one and this one. So now onwards, whatever recordings are I will going will be recorded will be placed in under this drive. Please copy this drive. This second drive. Now in this drive also, I will create one more folder with the name documents. In the documents, I will copy the all the documents related to all the recordings, whichever I am going to teach from now on. So both drives, the previous one is available, this one also available. Both you have to use. Okay. Uh, hope you have copied it. And next thing is, please on 17th we have Sri Ramanavami on 17th Wednesday. So whoever want holiday on that day, then just type yes here. So the more yes, then then we can take holiday on that day. If less, then we can't take holiday on that day. Just vote yourself. Please vote. Give a vote here. Just type here. Don't speak. So just type here. Then everybody can see it. Only Swaraj, yes. So remaining, if you don't want, then type no here. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing any response from you. Naveen, Rajesh, Uha, Shibin, Revanti. Shibin, no. Okay. Revanti, Uha, Revanti, no. Uha. Uh, Uha. Uha, are you able to hear me? Naveen, can you respond, please? Rajesh, Rajesh, please respond quickly. Okay. Uha, no. Okay. So three no's. Rajesh, Naveen. Okay. So Swaraj, we don't have holiday. We don't have holiday. Our sessions will be continued. Okay. So no holiday on Wednesday. Our sessions will be continued. Okay. Thank you for your confirmation. Thanks, Rajesh. Okay. Use this drive, Google Drive. Okay. And okay, then we'll meet tomorrow at same time at 9:30. Thank you for your time. Take care.
Uh,